Hello there, it's Siobhan here. You're wondering why the Howard test card is up and about. Well, there was a slight technical hitch with this next VidiProg of the Flashing Blade podcast. Basically, our recording software gave one of the members of this VidiProg a slight echo. See if you can spot which person has the echo. Enjoy it, but keep your ears open. And cue Grams, Sinister.
You've got to fight for what you want, for all that you believe. It's right to fight for what we want, to live the way we please. As long as we have done our best, then no one can do more.
Hello there, welcome to the Flashing Blade podcast, or VidiProg, or whatever this thing is. I'm mysteriously in shadow, and with me, it's Dominic Glynn.
Hello there.
Hello, you're our very first video guest.
Yeah, never done a video podcast before, actually. This is a new world to me.
You have a dramatic angle, we like this.
Okay, yeah, I like, interesting direction,
And you've got things in front of you.
Yeah, my studio mascots, yeah, that's right. Say hello. Say hello. How rude.
And a dapple one, which does nothing except sit there.
Mute.
Sometimes it's better when they're mute,
Yes.
I find. So Dominic, hats, yes or no?
Hats.
Hats.
Well, being of the bald persuasion, I find that hats are invaluable in sunny situations.
Good, I approve of that. Now, we've already gone through the whole tea aspect. I believe both of us are partaking.
By the way, if I can just go back to hats for a moment.
Oh yes, by all means,
Winter hats are very useful. Being of the bald persuasion, again.
Yeah, but how do you keep them on? I've always had the problem that if it's windy...
Oh, I go for, something woolly. It fits snugly over the dome.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha, yeah. Oh, so, but if you wonder what I'm doing...
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Regular guest appearances.
I did wonder, yeah.
So, what is it you've got against 4 notes on a bass line? I mean, if we go to Trial of a Time Lord, it's da-dee-dee-dum-dee-dum-dee-dum-dee-dum-dee-dum-dum. What happened to da-dee-dee-dum, da-dee-dee-dum, da-dee-dee? What happened?
Bit of variety, a little bit of variety. That was my original thinking, Yeah, I think a lot of people wanted the Doctor Who theme to be just the same again, but I thought, there's no point in doing it the same again. Do it differently,
How did that come about, that commission?
What was the theme commission? The theme commission was completely and utterly out of the blue. I didn't ask for it. I asked for permission to write incidental music, but the theme commission came just after I'd been commissioned to write the first 4 episodes, but hadn't started. Because it was still in production. I just had a call from John saying, would you like to also have a go at the theme? So I didn't seek out that commission, it just happened, really.
Because I've found that the fact they just used it for the one series, you topping and tailing with the incidentals, it parcels that off beautifully. It gives the trial its own identity.
Yeah, it does. It definitely makes that season a sort of thing in its own right, I suppose.
Very much.
Said that, it would have been nice to be able to carry it on to the next few seasons or whatever, but so much changed the following year.
Yeah, not through choice at the time. So
No.
it's So, how did the incidentals come about then? I mean, did you send in a tape, as was? For our younger viewers, tapes were things.
We were sending in a cassette. I mean, it sounds hilarious now how it came about, because you could never get working CD like this now. But I did just send in a letter to John Nathan Turner. Dear John, I like Doctor Who, but feel that I could do a better job of incidental music. Something that's really abrasive, really. It's just cocky youth. I didn't really think I could do a better job. I just needed to try and convince John Nathan Turner that I could. And to John's credit, he was really, really good with new people and, giving new people a chance. It really was his one of his top things. And I sent him, presumably with the first letter, I must have sent him a cassette. And he wrote back, this is in the days of people writing letters, and he wrote back and said, yes, I really like the tape, come and see me. So I then went in to see him, probably aged 22, 23, I was quite young at the time, and then he said, I'm quite interested, but I'd like you to send me some more demos. So I went away and recorded some more demos at home and sent them in, and basically he then, fairly soon after, I think the second demo offered me work on the programme, just before it got cancelled.
You still have the demos?
Yeah, I do actually, yeah, somewhere. Right, I don't hear box of it, yeah, I do. They're quite sort of experimental actually. It was interesting. I dug them out fairly recently, and it was interesting to see how they're really quite in the style of Radiophonic Workshop. Really, they're very electronic, very dark sounding. So it's quite interesting that John went for that, as a experimental electronic sound, which maybe you wouldn't have thought would be up John's street. He obviously felt it was right on the programme or something.
Well, your music was far more, it was different to the Radiophonic Workshop's previous stuff, which, in fairness to them, they were starting to hit, I think a rut is the wrong word, but there's only so much you can do. How Dudley Simpson managed it, God alone only knows.
Yeah, because he did a lot of episodes,
But your stuff, there's a completely different palette being used, and again, it's more atmosphere, and with the whole with the changes of the program, they changed the lightness. They've shot it on video. It changed round. How much time did you have for those first incidentals?
As I remember, it was probably about. We used to have around about a week to 10 days to do each episode. 10 days was usually quite a luxury. You might have 2 weeks for the occasional episode, but that was it. Between a week and 2 weeks would be the average sort of time.
Did you score to time code?
Yeah, time code burnt at the bottom of the screen, putting a VHS tape in the VHS. It was incredibly primitive. Literally, I always tell people this thing about half the time, half of that 10-day period was spent pressing the button at the right time to sync it up. So you'd be watching the tape on the TV and you'd be pressing the play button on the tape machine, hoping that the thing you started would actually hit at the right point. Of course, Doctor Who was very time sensitive. A lot of the music needed to have things, hitting points on the screen visually. So an awful lot of time was wasted trying to get the thing in bloody time.
So when you approached the theme tune, what were your initial thoughts? It's a big commission. Big,
obviously.
Good.
Obviously, I was incredibly honoured that he'd asked me to do it, and I suppose partly I thought, I'm going to do it and he's just going to reject it. I don't think I really believed he was going to use it. And I think, as I say, he called me up about that. Something makes me think he then called me into the office to go and talk about. I just have a memory of being in his office and him telling me that he wanted me to try the disco beat. And I think that was his expression. I'd like you to try the disco beat. So I kind of tactfully said I didn't think that was going to work. But I'd give it a try, give it a go, and there we go. And I told him it didn't work. So I didn't do a disco beat, but I just did what I wanted to do with it, really.
The thing about John Nathan Turner was he could come up with some superb ideas and some really bad ones.
Yes, that's right. As I was saying, I said this to people before, the concept of doing it with a disco beat is quite a different concept now than it would have been in 1985 or something when he first took 86.
Yes.
Because that would have been pre-house music and pre-techno and all that, the idea of doing that. In his words, a disco beat meant disco.
Well, the Mankind version.
Mankind, that's it, yeah. So I was prepared to do that to my beloved favourite theme tune. So I didn't do that to it.
Oh dear.
But, John just sent me a load of tapes. He sent me the tapes of all the original track, the Peter Howell's version and all the various incarnations of Delia's versions, and I just listened to all of them and assimilated everything and not included in them, and made my own version.
Yeah. I like the fact that you actually highlighted the bass line during the single length version. And like I say, more atmosphere. Or as the BBC, as the Radio Times put it, now even more electronic.
Is that what they said?
That's what they said in the advert.
More electronic.
It was a lovely piece. I'm going to have to move on. Let's. We've spoke about Mysterious Planet, the Ultimate Foe. Again, going back to a similar palette, and having to deal with all sorts of weirdness in the Matrix.
Great. I mean, I always loved the Matrix as a concept. It's very right up my street. I like science fiction with a little bit of surreal edge. So I was quite happy to do that.
Bob Holmes' script to play with as well.
Yeah.
The wonderful Fantasy Factory theme.
Yes. But again, that's a joy to get that in the script.
Now, we've nicked that for something.
That'd be good.
I hope you don't mind. It's Ask Sinister, my co-host Dr. Sinister. Yes, thank you. That's what I wanted to know. I sort of said to him, "What music do you want?" "Fantasy Factory, please." Right. Okay. Start rummaging. Find the old blacklight cassette. Happiness Patrol. Now that's a very different style.
Yes.
Of things. For a start, Dragonfire. Sorry, yes, I've skipped a series, haven't I?
If we're going chronologically,
well, why not?
Doctor Who, we don't have to. You could go any way you want.
No, but yes, Dragonfire. That was Chris Clough directing.
Chris Clough, yeah. Inbrig script.
Yeah.
And direction just to the icy cold in the music. So again, it's nice to have a clear direction of where I was supposed to head with it, which was just make it cold.
Was there anything? I mean, you'd obviously done the previous year. Did you have anything specific personally you wanted to want to do with incidentals? The incidentals for it?
Well, yes. I mean, I was trying to. The one thing I got in fairness, I said wrote to John McTurnan and said I could do it better. Yeah. There was a hint of that in the sense that I wanted to make it a little bit less small sounding. I wanted the thing to sound a little bit more filmic, which I think is the kind of direction it ended up going in. And that was the thing. I think Dragonfire maybe marked the beginning of that kind of sound, where I was trying to make it a larger, weightier sort of sound.
You had the whole Ice World theme itself. Which bizarrely has been left off the 50th anniversary album. The suite on that doesn't have the Ice World.
Right. Well, terribly limited space. That's the trouble on that album. But hopefully we'll get individual releases at some point.
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah. I mean, like I say, you had the blacklight stuff, but it would be nice to have the other stuff.
Nicer quality. Yeah.
So let's move on to Happiness Patrol. Again, Chris Clough, I think, wasn't it?
Chris Clough again?
And was it? Hang on. Yes, it was. It was Alan Waring, I'm thinking, for later on. And another mood. A mood shift in the programme itself. Is the Doctor himself has become more serious. And obviously, underneath the flimsy coating, there's a dark story to be played with. What were your instructions on that, and what did you particularly want to do?
It was very music heavy. Well, not music heavy, but it played a crucial part in the story. So the discussions on that, as much with Chris Clough, with Andy Cartmel and Graham Curry, who was the script editor, because they were both very into their music, and it was very important from their point of view that the music didn't sound cod.
No, I know what you're saying.
What did it sound genuinely bluesy? And so we talked about that a lot, and wanted to make sure that blues sounded like blues. And I was fortunate enough to work with a really good harmonica player, not Richard Sharp, who you see on screen, who could probably just about do a Bob Dylan. Actually, no, he couldn't. No, thinking about it.
I just imagine you walking on set going, "Yeah, try this."
Yeah, but he did. He did say on auditioning the part, it's the old yes, I can ride a horse.
Yeah.
Yes, I can play the harmonica. And playing the blues harmonica was not a straightforward thing. You know, you have to know how to do it, and he couldn't do the blues. So basically, I got a guy who's really good, a guy called Evan Burney, to play the blues, and Richard did the miming to it on screen. Oh no, it's the other way around. Sorry, Richard did the pretend blowing, and then my guy had to then play, trying to copy the breaths and all that sort of stuff, which was quite tricky to do. Actually, really tricky to do.
How did you approach scoring for the Candy Band and the Candy Kitchen? Because I mean, that's
Well,
a bit tricky.
that kind of I approached that. I had to wait until I'd seen the Candyman, because I obviously read the script and I didn't know how they were going to do it. And obviously at the time everybody was like, "Oh, are you sure about this? You know, there's the Bertie Bassett thing and everything." So I thought, there's no way I was going to make the Candyman work by using big, bombastic, heavy, dramatic music. It wasn't going to work like that, because it would almost highlight the fact that it wasn't a bombastic, dramatic character. It was kind of freaky, odd character. So I thought the way to do it is to use a much more kind of how do you describe it really, but to just make it weird rather than big and scary, because it wasn't big and scary, it was just bizarre, And in fact, I think at the time I thought, I've done it like Bertie Bassett. But over the years, I've really grown to really like that story. The only thing I don't like about that story is the fact that it wasn't shot on film.
And in black and white. It would be beautiful in black and white.
I mean, I think, I've said this before, I think I've said this to Andrew, what would probably have made it work better for me, bearing in mind it had to be shot in a studio and everything, is they should have added a line to the effect that the place was underground, not out in the open. Then it would have been far more believable in that sense. But as a script, I think it's a great script.
I think Graham Curry, the original idea for the Candyman was actually a proper humanoid figure, but with very pale skin, so it looks as if he's made of sugar. I don't know what that noise was. That's a cat coming in the cat flap.
Okay, right, I did wonder, I thought maybe you were being attacked.
Possibly. That may yet happen. Survival. Now, that's a very different story.
Yeah. As everybody points out, Survival very much the blueprint for Doctor Who that was to come.
Modern Doctor Who, yes. And musically, I mean, I think you hit your motion picture.
Oh, right, thank you. Good.
I mean, there's hints of the Old West there.
Yeah.
And it really, it pumps out, especially the guitar, it pumps out the heat of where they were, if that makes sense. In my head it makes sense.
Yeah.
The mouth hasn't done the rest of it properly.
Came across nicely. That was the idea. I mean, that was the thing. I mean, the guitar came about because Alan Waring, the director Alan Waring, he was quite clear what he wanted. He said, "Can we use guitar in this?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely, if you want." He said, "When we do the alien landscape, all the deserty stuff and the volcanoes," he said, "I've been hearing this track by Dire Straits, and I don't know what the track was, but I've been hearing
right across the river. It's got pipes at the start of it."
Okay, well that's, he said, "That's the sort of thing I want. If we can get a guitar in, can really sum up that kind of." So I got a guitarist in, and of course having a guitarist there meant I could try and use some other things with the guitar. So I said, "Go and get your acoustic guitar out as well as the electric." We got acoustic guitar, and then I thought, this could work really nicely for the horseback scenes and everything. We'll go for a kind of spaghetti western feel to it, and again try and make it a bit filmic. Try and up the production value of the programme a bit through the music. So that was
See, this is the thing I've got about your incidentals. They really add to the atmosphere and selling the show that you've worked on.
Oh, good. Oh, that's good to hear.
And like I say, with Trial, it's the package.
Yeah.
With Dragonfire, again, you're moving more towards it. It's colder. It's sadder. Happiness Patrol, again, bluesy. Again, there's that hint of sadness. And then Survival, the heat, the West, as you said.
Yeah. And I was aiming for the loneliness as well of Perivale, which is there's a lot of that.
Desolate landscape.
Yeah. So I was going the alien landscape of Perivale as much as the alien landscape.
Well, yeah, no, that I think there was a theme there somewhere.
Yeah, it's Perry going back to her roots, wasn't it? And finding it miserable when all her friends have gone. And, you know.
The Terror Mix.
The Terror Mix.
You owned that EP. I'm not trying to suck up here, but you really did own that EP.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Very different approach.
Well, it wasn't a Latin approach. You swallow that tea.
Yeah, it's gone down. No, I decided that wasn't my scene. Again, I was filming thing. I wanted to do a film.
But in fact, I'd love to hear the Terror Mix played at one of the proms.
Yeah,
by full orchestra, because it would really work.
Well, I'll have to lobby for it, won't I?
Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
I think Murray was grumpy that the radiophonic workshop got in on the last one. I could be wrong, but he didn't look too happy on the telly. So, better explain that. It was a four-track EP CD. Yeah. The square CD. Did your CD player break?
I didn't risk it.
Quite right too.
I've got one here. The square CD was actually not permitted by the powers that operate the red system or something, orange, whatever it's called, for CD. So they had to withdraw them.
Oh dear.
For
those that don't know, it was a 4-track EP, 2 tracks by Mark Ayres, 1 track by Dominic, 1 track by Kev McCulloch, variations on a theme, where you had 4 different versions of the Doctor Who theme. Mark did, the Mood mix and a Panopticon mix.
Yeah, that's right. I think he'd already done one. Yeah. Hang on one second. Hold on a second. No, I haven't.
2 sugars.
Mark had already done one, I think, for a convention. Which is
that was a remix from a previous year's one, and just upped the pace a bit. Kev did a Latin mix, which went on to be used, I think, for the year's videotapes. Whenever John Nathan Turner did a special videotape, he'd use a clip from that. And Dominic did the Terror mix.
Yeah.
And it lives up to its name. If anybody's heard the full-length version of my theme for the WhoCast, as was, the middle 8 at the start of that is taken from the Terror mix, because you just nip it into the minor chords, and it's beautiful.
Good. Yeah.
It's lovely.
Interesting to see what happened if you turn a middle 8 into a minor middle 8.
Did I get that wrong?
Yeah, no, you got it right. Yeah.
Oh, right, I did. Sorry. You see, I'm self-taught, so all the technical stuff I don't know.
So am I as well. So.
But it was just, that just sounds spot on. Like I say, I've used it. I think someone I've got a few questions from our viewers for you afterwards. Mm-hmm. He's used it as well. And it's, if you want to really hit that atmosphere again. I mean, where did you come from on that? You wanted to do the filming score. Why Terror?
Well, because for me, that's Doctor Who at its best, is when it's, scaring the Jesus out of you. So I wanted to try and do that in music. It was always my aim, actually, with the music. Like I say, when I did the very first demos with John Nathan Turner, I made them scary. And I think that was my approach with John, actually, was to say, I wanted to do scary incidental music. As it turned out, the episodes that I was actually commissioned to do weren't particularly the scariest episodes. I would have loved to have had a Cyberman story or a Dalek story or something that was very dark but in fact, there are elements in all of them that are really
it would be interesting to see. Sometimes you look at things and you think, wouldn't it be interesting to see how such and such would have scored it? Mark of the Rani, for example, on the DVD of that, the original composer's music's there for the first episode.
Right.
And it's kind of, okay, this is different. Mark did, when he approached John, he got a couple of scenes from Remembrance of the Daleks. I think he scored those as an example.
And also the Paradise Towers alternative score, that's available as well on the DVD. I mean, the original score was rejected for that, which was David Snell, I think, wrote a score.
That's it, yes. Mm-hmm. I think Peter Howell did a couple of test scores on the Horns of Nymon.
Right, okay.
To sort of show what the Radiophonic Workshop could do. So, then the theme park years, where there's no TV on. Mm-hmm. What were you up to?
Well, almost immediately Doctor Who finished, I got into writing library music. So commissioned by Universal, it wasn't Universal, Chapel and Britain Music, making library CDs. So it's music for any kind of TV programme or film, or advert or whatever. So, and I've been doing that on and off ever since. I also spent a large chunk of the 90s writing electronic dance music, techno, underground house, techno, that kind of thing, ambient. Got into that a lot in the 90s, and then subsequently a lot of short films, a lot more library music.
Aren't you working on the film at the moment?
I've just finished a film, actually, yeah. I've just finished a documentary film called A Dangerous Game.
Well, where can we find that, please?
Well,
do the plug.
It's due to hit cinemas in September.
Okay.
And I'm very, very proud of it, actually. It's a great film, so keep fingers crossed for that.
A Dangerous Game.
A Dangerous Game, yeah.
Okay. Right, well, we'll keep an eye open for that one. You got chatting to someone who's been on this show back when we were doing the audio podcast. That was Danny Stewart, who's a great fan of the theme tune, much as quite a few of us are. And yes, I mean, this is someone who can just take it, well, who has taken it apart bit by bit. Now, Danny remixed your theme. Doing his Cosmos mix, which took it in a very slightly different direction and filled it out a little bit more. If you were to approach the theme tune yourself now, a new theme tune, not a trial theme tune, but what would you do? Sing it for me now.
I'm going to do it now. It's a really difficult question because I'm doing something. I know the thing so well now, and I kind of feel I did what I would do with it, bearing in mind the equipment I had and the time I had available to me. So it's difficult to know how I would want to do it entirely differently. I suppose the nearest I've got to it is what I've done on the remixes, which I've just done, obviously. And I've done 4 of them. So that's kind of how I would have liked to have done it almost back in 1986, but we didn't have the technology to do it.
Well, it hasn't got a disco beat, but it's got a damn fine melody, and it's so subtle.
Yeah, that was the idea, yeah. It's a pulse almost.
Yes. Let's talk about those. Where did that come up from?
What, the EP? That came about from the Gallifrey convention in LA, and when I knew I was going to LA, I knew that I didn't want to just go and do an interview. I wanted to do some performance of some kind. So I thought, what can I do? I'll do a remix of the theme. So I kind of worked on it before I left and went to LA. And then when I was there, I did a live mix of it from my laptop. And that became Gallifrey remix. It went down very well, and lots of people said, "Oh, that's fantastic! When can we get a hold of it? When can we buy it?" And I said, "Well, you can't. It's not. I just did it, but today." And they said, "Oh, well, can you see?" Okay. And I hatched a plan. So my plan then was to release it. If I released it on iTunes, maybe with a couple of other mixes or something, we could make an EP. So I set about getting permission from the BBC and getting together with, getting my system together to make a finished mix to release, and then doing some other mixes. And I contacted Justin, who I used to write with when I was doing the electronic dance music I was talking about earlier on. That was Syzygy. And
that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I know, it's a tricky one. And so we did the Syzygy remix, and then before long I've got 4 mixes. I released them through iTunes and Amazon and then anywhere else that does digital downloads, and that's it.
It's a damn fine EP. Like I say, that pulse just keeps it going, and it's a subtle thing. It's once it gets in your head, you've got this almost a counter bass line going, which is based, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, on trial incidental music.
Yeah, that's right. It was a lucky accident, really, because I was playing around with the voice sample at the beginning, which is Colin from the trial, talking about Time Lords, and it's got that piece of incidental music underneath his speech, and I thought, okay, that's interesting. And I laid that speech into my track at the beginning, and then it kind of overlapped the track, and it kind of synced up, and I thought, oh, hang on, that's interesting. It really creates an interesting new rhythm. because one of the things about Who themes is it's quite difficult to make it a dance track because it's in triple time and it doesn't lend itself to being, which is why when Orbital did it, they changed the rhythm subtly, but they changed the rhythm. It's not in triple time. Mine sort of still is, but it's got that, because it's got that other line going through it. It kind of changes the emphasis of it, so it becomes a little bit more groovy almost, without sort of sounding like a disco beat.
And you started to get into the whole 4-note thing rather than 3.
Yeah. But this is actually the key element that actually, I like it. A few things I put back in. I put back in a bit of Peter Howell's version. Which is
Noticed that. And also, there's a bit of the Delia bass line in there.
Yeah.
And on the Gallifrey After Dark mix, the sine wave, the melody line from Delia.
I can't remember whether that's the original or whether that's something that I can't remember, to be honest. I have a terrible memory for something I did over a week ago.
Good, I approve.
So yeah, it may well have been a little element of the original. It may have been something I'd added from my various setups here.
It's 4 very, very good remixes. And like you say, you can find them iTunes, Google, Amazon. It's Doctor Who themed the Gallifrey remixes.
That's it.
Go out and get them because your ears will love you forever. Right, that's the plug done. That's the plug done. Now we've got lots of questions.
Okay.
Tim Drury, what's your favourite version of the theme other than your own? Stop biting me.
Has to be the original because it's unique, and it was unique, and it still sounds like nothing I've ever heard before. Even now, it doesn't sound. It's never going to date. It's totally innovative. So yeah, it has to be the original.
Okay, now this is a different thing. I'm not sure if this applies to Doctor Who or just life in general, but Christian Ainscough says, "What's your favourite piece of music?" Do you want to do Doctor Who and then real life?
That's really well. Okay, let's do Doctor Who because in real life I could go on for all night. And every time you ask me, I'd say something different. It's like difficult enough.
What did you listen to just now?
Yeah. So let's go to Doctor Who. My favourite bit of music in Doctor Who is the wonderful bit of library music, funnily enough, for Cybermen in the early '60s.
Space Adventure.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called, isn't it? Yeah, which is it's a pretty odd piece of music, really odd piece of music. It just suits those faceless mechanical metal creatures perfectly. Yeah.
Some of that old library music they use is just brilliant electronic music to listen to. I mean, I love listening to Tristram Carey's score for the Daleks. I mean, that's hardly music, but it's it's just so good.
It's out of this world. That's the thing. Out of this world.
Yeah. Again, it sold Skaro. It sold this metal city. Mark Anthony Adams. It's not a question, it's just easily the finest musician to have worked their talents on the Who theme since the original version, in his opinion.
What a gentleman.
You're not getting paid for that, Mark.
Yes.
Now, Ned Warren, otherwise known as Gwylock1 on YouTube, and he does his, I think I've mentioned him about the Middle 8-bit. I asked, if anybody would like to send in some questions. He sent in 7. So here we go.
Yeah.
What was it like working on Doctor Who?
It was like a dream come true in the sense that, I always wanted to work in TV, loved science fiction, loved electronic music. I was working in television, I was working on Doctor Who, I was making electronic music. So, it was great.
Where does your musical inspiration come from? Say Ultravox, go on, just for a laugh.
Is that the implication behind the question? Who your musical influences? Is that
I'm guessing so, yeah.
Well, far and wide, really. Again, it's like the question of what's your favourite music. I've loved a lot of film soundtrack music over the years. I've loved, I still love John Barry's music for the Bond films. I love a lot of, later on I was very heavily into sort of music like, I don't know whether anyone knows Global Communications, electronic music from the 90s, film music from every era. TV themes, I always loved things like The Persuaders, going back to John Barry.
Do you remember in the 70s being able to get those LPs of slight cover versions of TV themes? Like World of Sport or something.
And the Saints, all that stuff. It was a combination of all that stuff. It all sort of got mingled in together and ended up being a melting pot of stuff that influenced me over the years.
Same with everyone's different things, isn't it? Specific beliefs / policies on scoring techniques.
Blimey.
Yeah, I know. Doesn't want much. Tea, probably. Make sure there's a supply.
Yeah, ample supply of tea. Don't. I always say, follow the brief. When somebody, if you're working on a film or you're working on a TV program, don't just do what you want to do. Do what they want you to do.
Yes.
And the only exception to that is if you're asked to put a disco beat on, where you don't disco beat on.
Okay, have you... Oh, here we go. Have you ever had major conflict with a producer or director? About disco beats?
To be honest, I'm really lucky. I've never had these sort of fallouts with directors or producers. That's the only thing with John Nathan Turner where I didn't particularly agree with him, and I didn't really do what he asked, and he didn't object in the slightest. I went into the television centre with the tape, finished tape. Here you are, John. Here's the finished theme. You put it on the reel-to-reel machine. Listen to it, and went, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, we'll use that. And that was it. So I've never had any argument on that. And the incidental music, he always came in and heard it right at the very end of the process of making the episode. So John never heard the music until the end of the sound up. So it was like in the evening after we'd worked on it for 2 days, with the producers showing, and he'd sit in his chair and watch it. At the end, he may have a couple of notes for the sound mix or something, but never had any issue about the music at all. Directors, I got on very well with all the directors. I don't think I can only think of one time where the music I'd written in a scene wasn't right, and we changed it, and that was the very end of the Trial of the Time Lord, when the master turns around at the end and but it's the master. And so I think I had done something much darker than we ended up with, but I think Chris Clough thought it was too dark. So he changed that. But I have no memory of having any disagreement about any of the other bits. So.
Fair enough. Okay, last two. You've sort of already answered this, but how do you go about getting into the business? You send John Nathan Turner a tape.
Send John Nathan Turner a tape.
I can do better than this.
Possibly is a bit late. Well, the only advice I ever give to people on that is just keep doing it, keep making music. Too many people spend too long worrying about how they're going to get music to someone, how they're going to get, instead of actually making anything. Just do some music, and you'll do stuff. If you keep doing it, you'll do stuff you're really proud of. And when you know you've got something really proud of, to be really proud of, just make sure you find a way of getting it.
I'll send you a CD.
Yeah.
And his last one. I think this might be taken as read, but if you were asked to take part in the music for the new series, would you consider it?
Yes.
There we go. I thought you might say that somehow.
Yeah, of course. How could I not? Again, yeah, absolutely. Having said that, I do think Doctor Who benefited hugely from having different composers working on it, not having one composer doing everything.
I would agree.
Because Doctor Who, one of its key strengths is that every story is entirely different. So you've got historical, you've got space, you've got earthbound, you've got cowboys, you've got whatever the settings are. So just as you have a different director for each story, I think it would be fantastic to have different composers for different stories. Even if you had 3 or 4 maybe regulars like we used to have. I like that way of working. But from anything else, I think it gives the composers a chance to be fresh, because they're not under so much pressure to keep producing.
I mean, look how many he does a year. It's a
lot.
I'd like to see somebody else tackle the theme tune now, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think we've hit diminishing returns.
Yeah, sure.
But that's just my thing. Dominic, thank you so much for this interview. I hope it wasn't too strenuous. I hope your tea has not gone cold.
I'm still drinking it. So
that was just a little reference to survival. And yes, thank you very much.
A pleasure. Bye.
You've got to fight for what you want, for all that you believe. It's right to fight for what we want, to live the way we please. As long as we have done our best, then no one can do more. And life and love and happiness are well worth fighting for. They're well worth fighting for.